Most money you've ever made in a year?
13, 14 million. I was bored and I was like, a friend had mentioned OnlyFans and I was like, I'll make one if you make one.
The grind though entailed what?
80, 90, 100-hour weeks. How do we scale it? Okay, how do we get more eyeballs? Do people advertise on here? Like, how does that work? The one thing I hemmed and hawed with was, how do I tell my family? And then it was Father's Day and we went to brunch.
And why would you tell your dad on Father's Day?
I don't know. I never thought that it would be this. I'm the most followed creator on the platform.
Is there a point where even you start to get creeped out? They're still getting set up. How many employees do you have now?
We've trimmed.
Right.
I want to say
because at the peak, it was like
26.
But it's like a third of that or something, right?
Yeah, I want to say like 8 or 9.
And you guys have found you're doing just as well.
Doing better.
Right.
So we cut team and cost, and we're selling more.
And why do you think that is?
I think we figured out a lot of like our systems. We figured out ways that we were just being redundant and things that could do with less errors with computers and systems and software as opposed to human.
Right.
And then also we've shifted now to much more production and social media content. So it's like just a different thing as opposed to working on like just OnlyFans and doing that.
Yeah.
So that was a big shift. I'm glad we did it though. It's like
it's a lot of people to be.
That's why we have the parking lot because they were everywhere.
Right. I mean, you probably would have had to put in another parking lot.
I was going to build a whole nother building at some point, but now we all fit upstairs and it's nice. So.
Yeah. You guys good?
Okay.
So I wanted to actually start by talking about design. Where did you go to school in Boston and for what?
Okay. I went to Wentworth, but I only went for 6 weeks, so I don't know if they'll even count me.
Yeah.
I did get accepted like everywhere for like architecture because I've always kind of drafted and drawn, but
And where's everywhere?
What did
you remember?
Oh my God, I don't even remember.
Okay.
It was a while ago.
And as I understand from talking to your mom, she was less than thrilled when your parents found out after a month and a half.
That was not a fun conversation.
Like what from the conversation do you remember?
So as any, fresh 18-year-old who's about to go off to college, you're like, do I want to do this? And I was like, maybe, maybe not. And Brian and I had already kind of started our sporting goods company. So it was like, do I stay here and go do that with him? Or do I go off and do like the parent path? Like they wanted me to, go out of state, go to college and and being like the oldest child, they hadn't had any experience with that. So it was like, I'm setting the groundwork for like my sibling. And I was like, I'm not sure I want to go. And it was like panic. So I did end up going. And then when I got there, I tried, but I was completely miserable. I love Boston, by the way. Family friends are there and everything, but just like the schooling was not there for me. Like I really like residential architecture and they're like, we're going to do skyscrapers and, hospitals. And I'm like, I'm not really interested in any of that. I want to do just houses. I'm like, do you guys have a program for just that? And they were like, no. And I was like, So between that and then just being like missing Brian a whole bunch and knew that I was still helping him just from afar. I was like, pretty sure I'm going to leave. So I went and talked to like the loan officer at the college and I was like, I think I'm going to go. And they're like, well, you're on the hook for this loan. I was like, that's fine, I'll pay for that. So I think what I ended up doing was I squared that up. I gave my parents like my entire bank account and I had Brian swing up there and pick me up and I mapped out a whole trip so he bought product all the way up. When he got to me...
Bought product for the sporting goods. Yeah.
So by the time he got to me, there was no room in the car except for just me.
Yeah.
So I left all of my stuff in boxes in the dorm and we ended up having to ship that home a couple weeks later. But yeah, so we ended up buying more products, shipping it home. We took like 2 weeks and zipped all the way around the East Coast.
Wait, so what did your parents
they were having a nightmare. They were freaking out because they were like... You
remember telling them and how they responded?
Yeah, there was multiple phone calls. They were very upset because they were just like afraid. And they don't have like an entrepreneurial background or anything like that. So they were very like... didn't know. And when you're 18, I don't know either, but you have like this blind ambition of like, I can do anything kind of thing. And I had really good faith in like that Brian and I would be able to figure it out.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't think I had great data to tell you, other than like him and I had always, even growing up independently, we had always worked really hard. He had done a ton of like odd jobs. I had been nannying and babysitting since I was like 12. So I knew I would go to work. I'm not like gonna just sit on the couch and not do anything. Like I knew I needed to get things done, and I don't know, it's like an internal drive that you can't really teach. You either kind of have it or you don't.
And you knew you weren't going to go to another school. You were done.
I was done. Yeah, I was all in on trying to make our sporting goods company work.
You remember your mom was telling me high school was probably the toughest time for you and your sister, that relationship. And you guys are what, like a year and a half apart, something like that?
18 months, exactly.
You remember like what she said or any conversations with her?
I remember distinctly when I was talking to her, she's like, what am I going to tell my friends? I was like, I don't know, that I left college. Like, I'm like, why is this a concern?
Yeah.
You know? But I think it's just, when you're growing up, you're like, all you have is your peer group and what they think of you. And you kind of learn that as you get older, that probably that doesn't matter. Those people don't matter if they're judging you for those types of things. So that was a distinct thing. So we didn't get along a ton growing up, I think.
Different today or?
Different today.
Okay.
We get along fine. Yeah, she's a mom. She's got 3 kids.
Lives a few hours from here.
Exactly.
Other family for use nearby. Yeah.
Exactly. So, she ended up going the standard path that my parents wanted me to, like going to college, getting the dog, getting the house, like, and then the kids and the marriage. So she went more of the conventional path. I went completely unconventional with being an entrepreneur and, dropping out of college and all that. And caveat, they're very happy with everything we've accomplished now. And it was cool though. I think even though we went through like a tough 2 to 3 month period after I jumped out of college.
And what was tough about it?
Like I didn't talk to my parents for 2 months.
Oh,
I
didn't?
came back here and I think I moved out within 7 days.
Why'd you move out?
Because they were upset. I wanted the freedom.
Okay.
Because I think they were like, what are you gonna do with your life? Big questions I didn't really have answers to. So I think I needed that independence and space. So I moved out at 18. Left my entire bank account and went to live with Brian. So I don't remember how long we lived there. We lived at Patty's house for probably a year, I'd say. And we just...
And Patty is...
Brian's mom. Yes.
Yeah.
And so that was nice. I'm glad she let me come live there. But we got right to work. We didn't work half days or anything like that. We worked full time on that business. And I think I went back to nannying and I had a fitness center job at a country club. So I would go to work during the day and then at night we would do other things and we were just hammering it out. And we would put all of our money in and go to zero and then sell stuff and then do it again on repeat.
And on that front, because you were talking about him or Brian going to pick you up at college and he was buying stuff all the way up and the car was full. Explain what he was buying.
Okay, so we started it with buying and selling baseball bats on eBay.
And the idea for this came about
random. How? So he played baseball since he was 5. So in high school, I played tennis, he played baseball, and I would go watch all of his games. As any 17-year-old, he was upgrading his car stereo because why not, right? And right next door to that is a sporting goods store that he would go to. And we just kind of meandered in there and they had this rack of baseball bats and they were on clearance. And just for whatever reason, we're like, they probably sell for more online. And I think George Steinbrenner had just died and I sold his autographed baseball, Brian's, on eBay. Because I was always doing things. I was buying
You're using your mom's eBay account.
I used my mom's eBay account. Yeah, because you can't have an eBay account when you're 15, 16, 17. So I would buy and sell my clothes on there and just rotate. So I knew how to work it really well. And I was like, I'm sure I can sell these bats on there. So he used all of his money, bought those bats, and I sold them on eBay. And we made $600. So I think we spent $200 and made $600. We were like, oh, well, that was cool. Just randomly. And I think one of his friends was like, they have other sporting goods stores. You guys could probably go do that again. We're like, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. And so we just started doing that. And then I started researching the state of Florida. And I found all the little mom and pop sporting goods stores. And that was kind of what started it. And then we were like, well, we need to go out of state. And then, so Brian would start taking these bat trips. So I would map everything out, get all the store times, call ahead of time. Do you sell baseball bats? And so eventually we would start traveling the country. So what I did for when he came to pick me up was I mapped out from Florida all the way to Boston, all of the stops that he was going to make. And so he was just buying baseball bats from all of these mom and pop sporting goods stores because they were really bad at inventory and they didn't know the internet that well. So, they're dealing with a local market where we're dealing with global. So we could typically find a huge knowledge gap. and we would just try and empty out like their old baseball stock.
And it was the old ones that performed the best.
Yeah, they had like some rule changes go on. So like there were actually like illegal bats, so people couldn't play with them in games. And a lot of our clients were South Korean, and they don't have the same rules and regulations. So,
and you guys would be able to get a huge premium.
Sometimes there's a couple.
I don't know, is South Korea or Japan or something?
Mostly South Korea.
Okay, got it.
So, because there'd be like nostalgia, kind of like baseball players are very superstitious. So it's like this bat. This is like my childhood bat, or this one performs. They call it hot. So sometimes if you could find that specific one like in the wrapper, if $500, $800 sometimes, and it was like we paid 50, and it may be 6 years old, but it's still in the wrapper. So someone's like they're willing to pay for it. So we had this like kind of really unique, like almost like treasure hunting. So anyway, so yeah, by the time we got to Boston, the Honda Civic that we had at the time was geared down, and hundreds of pounds of baseball bats just lined in every little corner. So it was.
And it was a 2-person operation for the longest time.
For a really long time, yeah. We did every single job possible. I remember building pallets in Patty's driveway with baseball bats that we were shipping to Korea, and we'd have like a semi-truck pull up to this house, and we'd load a pallet. But yeah, I think Brian's mom started helping us a little bit with like making like shipping boxes for us, and I think all of our first hires were his baseball friends.
And what was the moment you knew on that front, on that business front, stuff was going to be okay?
I think once we realized that we could kind of rinse and repeat and go to like the next store and the next store and the next store, I don't know if it was like a conscious moment. It was more of like it kind of just gradually like, this is what we're doing. And then, okay, well, we wanted to have our own independence and be completely financially independent on our own, not living under somebody else's house. So how do we get there? Well, this is, we're making money here. So when we're learning a skill, we're learning how to run a business. And I think we were just so excited at that point that we had like purpose and skills, and it was a challenge. That was what was cool, is like we liked figuring these things out. I don't know.
How long did it take for the parents to come around?
My parents, I think once we moved out and had like our own place, I think they felt like their nerves probably settled a little bit. Like, okay, this isn't like a flash in the pan thing. Like they're serious about they're accomplishing things. So probably a year and a half. And then I think once we would rent houses because we could get nicer houses for renting than we could for buying, especially being self-employed. And when you're like 20 and you're like, I would like to buy a house, they're like, oh, okay, easy there. I think once we started to do that, and then we made more money, I think, than my parents were making, I think they were like, okay, this is different than we were thinking. Like they are going to accomplish and do more.
To what extent did kind of the success you were starting to have there impact your interest in what you had started going to school for, design?
Yeah. I always kind of would draft a little bit here and there. Like I would just draw.
Floor plans, right?
Yeah, I love floor plans and just like drawing like the exteriors of houses.
Like what will you draw?
I like modern architecture a lot, so like anything that's like, very...
I've heard farmhouse modern is the
I do
term
like
that was
farmhouse
used.
modern, yeah, but I'm still like super like, if you give me concrete and glass and like some metal, I'm like, oh, I love it. So I have a little preference towards that, but I try and push myself to kind of do the things that I don't know how to do well, obviously, because then I can get better at it. But mainly the floor plans is where I like laying things out for whatever reason. And as a child, like my dad and I would take bike rides on the weekend, and we'd go walk through like houses that were under construction. So I think that fed a little bit of that. And that's like some of my fond memories, is doing that with him. But all of that was always like figuring out where things were going to be and why, and figuring out, oh, that was a cool idea, that was dumb, why would they put that here? So it took a back burner when we were like focused on the business, but I would still just dabble here and there. But I never went as far as to be an architect, you have to have a college degree and you have to have certain certifications. So it was never like a thing that I could just spin up and do. So I never like took it to any kind of serious level. Like even right now, I haven't done anything with it.
What do you do with it now?
I mean, I renovate everything around here, so I come up with that. So I guess it's more of like a designer type of aspect.
And does that interest you more now than the...
I still think my ultimate goal is to build like my own house, like top to bottom, design the whole thing. That's still like my end goal. I don't know if I would do it though as a profession. Like doing it for other people, I would probably pass on that. I like doing what I'm doing here, and then just like taking things and making it slightly better or cooler or more efficient, or, you know, making it a great set for our content.
And explain what you've kind of done here with design. Yeah.
We've done a lot here. So the guest house that you drove by up front.
Wait, real fast, by the way, there was a fish tank sitting right here?
There was a 1,000-gallon fish tank about 10 feet that way when we bought the house, which was sensational. I miss it, actually. We had a leaking issue where they couldn't fix it. So one day we came home and there was 700 gallons of salt water everywhere, because we had 1,000 gallons in reserve tanks. So when it gets low, it just pumps more in. But yeah, it ended up all over the floor. So that was kind of like our final straw, because we're like, if we're not here, we were gone for like 3 hours. So like, if we're not here for a couple of days and that happened, like, that would be a mess.
Right.
So called it on that, took it all out. But there's a whole separate engine room, like in the garage. There's like a 10x8 room where all the pipes were there and all the automation was there. I mean, it was like a serious tank, which I do adore. So I probably will get a smaller one at some point. But yeah, so other than taking that out, I've added things to this property. So we did all of the paving, all of the asphalt. We did the hot tub, the fire pit, the grill. The guest house that's up front, it was actually a 6-stall horse barn, open air. And now it's a full 2-tube kitchen. Like, I tried to leave it, there's like aspects from the horse stall, like I left the original doors and the struts are all original. And I just tried to make it just fun and authentic, but useful to us.
Your mom had horses growing up. She mentioned you guys did not, but outdoors were kind of a big thing.
We always did a lot of stuff outdoors. I mean, pre-cell phone, so it was like you just went outside and you played, and we did a lot of sports. We did like a lot of like tennis, and we were always kind of out in the yard. So I spend a lot of time outside now between the garden and just like trying to enjoy the property. We have almost 60 acres. Like, I want to enjoy the space.
Yeah, I interrupted you when you were explaining kind of what you've done here.
We also put in a shooting berm, which I'm happy to show you. Got a trampoline, garden, and then the back building where the office is, that was think more like pole barn. Like, the doors were like sliding barn doors, like not air sealed, like wide open. So that we've put so much effort into, that it's like fully AC'd, the glass doors, metal, solar, like rearranged the whole conference room, added 2 bathrooms. Like, it's a serious spot now. And I'm proud of how it looks aesthetically, because it was like this weird gray-blue two-tone thing. And now I feel like it looks modern and sleek. And
how long did that take?
That's been a course over the last 2.5 years. Okay. Yeah, because I would do little things and I would come up with a new idea. And the big bay doors were like my last shining accomplishment. And then I painted the house white and put the same door on this garage. And then when we acquired the 5 acres over there, I redid that whole storage building to match the gym too. So I don't know. I'm doing things, but I like it, and I want it to look really, really good, because it's in all of our content all the time. We're always all over the property. So it's like, if this can look like a great backdrop and we can maximize, you know, setting up a cool set, everybody wins. So I like it, I enjoy it, I can look at it, and then our content maximized. And
probably a decent amount of it's a tax write-off too, because you're working here in addition to living here.
It's an environment for the business, which is true. So like the gym, we made it look like a commercial gym, so that people are always in the comments like, wait, where is this gym? Can I sign up for this gym?
So kind of in the same way you were trying stuff out in the sporting goods business, seems like how you started out in OnlyFans as well. Explain that.
So we did the sporting goods business for like 6-7 years, and then Brian and I like soft retired. We got to the point where we were financially comfortable, and we had kind of accomplished like, okay, we have nice cars, we have a nice house, and we can eat steak whenever we want. Like, those were kind of like our baselines, and then we kind of were like, well, what do we want to do now?
But why not just blow that out and make it bigger and bigger?
A little bit of a big fish, small pond. There's only so many like mom and pop sporting goods stores, so we actually ended up like talking to all of them throughout the whole country. There's like 1,000 of them. So we had kind of pushed that, and we were in the high 90% of like efficiency, and without.
And what does that mean?
Like, we would have to start putting out way more effort for a very small return, time and attention. And we were like, we like that business, it's nostalgic for us, but like, that's not what we wanted to do forever. So we systematized it, trimmed down. So right now it runs with like 2.5 people, and I don't spend any time on it. So we kind of just took that, and then we're like, well, what do we want to do? So we took a couple years to kind of explore various different projects. We were super impatient, because that business, we had traction right away. And so that was a thing we learned going through these other projects of like trying to build a product or trying to build a service business. So we did like a little health service business where you do like DEXA scans, like body scans. I don't know if you've ever done that. It tells your body fat, number of pounds of muscle, lean mass you have. It's really cool.
Okay.
That is kind of when we started like our fitness journey, because we were like, well, now we have some time, let's focus on it. So that's when he started his journey.
You always called yourself fat skinny.
I was skinny fat, yeah.
Or skinny fat, sorry.
Yeah. So I've always been like lean, but I didn't have much muscle at all. So it was gonna be a problem. If I didn't catch it then, we were gonna fall down there. I'm so glad I did, because I feel much more like capable and strong now.
And the momentary detour, but what have you done on that front?
Years of training. And it's impressive, like how much you can you think you're training hard and you're not. Because I definitely was sandbagging it for a couple of years. Like I definitely, when you go from doing nothing to something, obviously you'll see a nice change. But to get where I am now, I had to do like 3-4 years of intense learning how to track my food. What foods do I eat? And really most of it was like switching to a higher protein diet. That made a huge difference for me. We take everything in like data log. Like we would rack up like all of our weights, all of our sets, all of our reps, and track and see if we're making progress like week over week. And that really just held us to be like accountable to ourselves, and then it helped us actually measure if we're making progress. So,
and you still do it to this day?
I actually have stopped, because I've gotten pretty good of like, I know what I'm eating. I know what to do in the gym at this point. So I think Brian still logs all his stuff. His food, he's still logging his food. But I've gotten to the point where it's so routine for me. I know what choices I can make. And I've also gotten to the point where I feel pretty happy and accomplished with my body, other than like, I'm trying to like still grow my glutes, because why not? But like, I'm happy with like the aesthetics that I have. And I'm just like, cool, what skills can I learn? So I'm taking like gymnastics and practicing that, because I'm like, I want to be able to do other cool things that are a different kind of strength for me.
And do you still feel like you're having gains in the way you want, or is it now just the goal is to kind of maintain?
It's definitely maintaining with like, I can't get too much leaner. I can't add too much more muscle mass. And I'm all natural too. So I've never taken anything. I mean, I take creatine, but everyone knows you can take creatine. So I've just like pushed my natural limits, and I'm a pretty good responder in my upper body. So I hardly do any upper body thing. It's just kind of unfortunate. Guys are always like, can I have those genetics? I'm like, yeah, please give me your leg genetics. That would be great. But yeah, so I don't know. I know what I need to do. So I'll go in the gym, I'll accomplish it.
Which is what?
I just work out legs and glutes at this point. My gymnastics takes care of my upper body. So I just do like 4 or 5 different exercises of hard sets, 3 sets. I'll vary. I try not to get bored, because that's a big thing too at the gym. Is if you do like the same workout, you'll get pretty bored and you kind of fall off. You want to have a routine or a gym buddy or something, some sort of accountability to keep you there. And I think for me too, some of it is like my job is based on like some of my aesthetics and being capable in the gym. So it's like that's a little self-motivating for me of like, I need to make sure that I look and feel the best for my own self, but also for like our business and our content.
And you work out how often and for how long? 4
or 5 days a week, 30-40 minutes at this point. It's very maintenance-esque for me. Like I can get away with not doing a ton at this point.
And the diet entails what?
2,400 calories, which is high for a girl who weighs like 114 pounds. But I still maintain eating like high protein foods. Just now that we've known that, we've set our environment. So like the snack options and the meal options that we have naturally have a lot of protein.
But take me through a typical day of like what you eat.
Okay, so I have a lot of coffee.
Okay.
I just enjoy it.
Caffeinated or
yeah.
Okay.
But I could drink a full like stack of coffee at like 10 p.m. and go pass out. Like I'm fine. I really just like the like taste of it. So I do a lot of coffee. Lunchtime I'll have a 400-ish calorie meal, usually like 20 to 30 grams of protein. Could be a Chick-fil-A salad, could be mac and cheese, protein mac and cheese. We'll put like chicken in it or something like that. And then in the afternoons, I'm typically like, I'll have a snack or two with like protein chips. And then I'll typically save most of my calories for like a bigger, bolder like dinner. And that'll be probably 40 to 60 grams of protein, depending on what we end up doing there. And we usually would have like a nightcap, we call it like dessert, but it's also, again, it's like a protein cereal with like, you know, a protein milk or something like that. For me, it tastes like the same. Like I don't feel like I'm missing out on something. And I'll totally dabble. Like if we have, you know, somebody has a birthday or we're having dinner with somebody, like I'll just get something that sounds nice to me, because I know that I'm having enough protein. I'm totally fine.
Cheat meals ever? I mean, like would you go eat a full pizza? Or,
oh yeah,
okay.
totally. So like when we go to New York and we hit up like the best pizza place, I'm like, yeah, give it to me. Like,
and
I'll
are you
totally have
still
it.
sticking within your calorie limit, or will you allow yourself to go crazy?
Over.
Okay.
My metabolism is very forgiving of me, so I could have a crazy day, and as long as I come back to my routine, I'm totally fine. Because that's the big thing. Is a lot of people will fall off, and then they're just like, that's it, they give up. When it's like you can mess up, you can have a cheat day or a fun time or enjoy a weekend. As long as you come back to your routine and like reset, then you're probably gonna be all right.
Okay, so those 2 years between the, kind of setting and forgetting the sporting goods business and figuring out what you were going to do next, it entailed what in terms of other things you guys were trying, what you were talking about, etc.?
So let's see. We tried to build an automatic charger for Teslas at one point. We had this like cool like little snake robot idea that you would park and it would plug it in. Again, impatience got the best of us on that. So we had like some cool 3D printed prototypes, but we were just like, we're not getting traction fast enough. And I think we researched a couple other things, and then we ended up doing a like small business, which was the DEXA lab. So we had a DEXA machine, you would lay down and you would scan people's body fatter. So it was helping a lot of people who were like starting like a weight loss journey or just wanted to measure their progress in the gym. So we partnered with one of our local friends, he owns a gym, and we still have that machine actually, it's in his gym. So we still pop in there and like measure ourselves. So we did that for probably like a year and a half. Service-based business. So it was totally different from our sporting goods, because sporting goods is like inventory and e-commerce. And this was like an in-person, like I have to make an appointment, I have to sit with you. So it was a cool skill, but also realized that unless we took that model and like franchised it and scaled it all out, like the amount of labor and time of like being tied to one location and having to like locally advertise, that was probably not gonna get us like life goals and freedom that we wanted out of it.
And what were the life goals and freedom at that point?
More financial freedom, more being able to do whatever we want whenever we want. And it's like, well, if I have a schedule and I have to meet certain people at certain times, I can't really go wherever I want, whenever I want. And we had kind of gotten used to that with like the sporting goods business, because I was like, oh, we can go to South Carolina. Yeah, okay, let's go. Like, and we can map a trip and we'll make it make sense. We can't really do that if you have 2 o'clock with, Susan. So, right. So we kind of wound that down a little bit, integrated the machine into our buddy's gym, and then he just used it for his gym clients. So we're like, okay, cool. And then...
and by the way, how would you and Brian kind of divvy up responsibilities? Like, is there a certain lane that you would always have and a certain lane that he would always have?
So we do now, and we did then. Like, we've always kind of worked really, really well together, because we have skills that mesh. So he's really good at figuring things out, having great ideas, brainstorming, doing the data and the math in the back end. And I'm really good at researching things and then going and executing on them. Like, if I need to figure something out, I will just sit there and figure it. Like, I will hammer at it for like 5-6 hours. He would get frustrated and I would be like, I'll figure it out. So it would be good because we could divide and conquer on so many different things, where he would figure out like an actual path for the business and what's the sales structure going to be like. And I'd be like, okay, well, here I just coded the DEXA body report. Here's how it looks. What do you think? And then we would make tweaks and I would go do it. So forever, kind of like in all of our businesses, we've always been able to get a lot done, because it's not like we were both trying to do the same job. We knew how to competitively like work together and play complementary skills so we can get as far as we could as fast as possible. So sporting goods business, we did that. The DEXA business, we did that. And OnlyFans, we did that. So going back to your original question with the whole, like, kind of what did we do? Even though we were dabbling with these other projects, we hadn't quite finished getting the sporting goods business like super dialed in. So it was like we would see the sales kind of go down, and then we would kind of come back for like 2-3 weeks, make some tweaks, and we go back up. And then as we would go dabble on something else, we'd see it come back down.
And what were the tweaks you'd make?
It's hard sometimes. Like, if you're the owner, you just you have a different level of care and you know exactly what you need to do. And it's hard to instill that in other people if they don't feel the same way about it. So it was that. It was also like, we didn't have great systems or things documented. Mm-hmm. So we'd be like, you got this. And then, we'd go disappear for 3 weeks and work on something else. And it's like, oh, actually he doesn't got it. And that's okay, but that's probably my fault. So it was just years of that, of like going through every single step. Is it documented? Is this the most efficient way possible? Do we even need this thing to be done? Like, so we ended up doing that over years of kind of coming back and forth and being like, this step is irrelevant. We should get rid of it. Or we should recode the software to do this other thing, or, print the stickers in alphabetical order actually, so then it goes in the order of the rack. okay, so they're not like skipping, like little things like that you wouldn't think would be like a thing to solve, but we did solve it, and it just made everything run super smooth. So we got more efficient with listing product, selling product, people's times. So over the years, we would kind of like dabble in these other things and pop back in. And it wasn't until, I think one night, I was bored, and I was like, a friend had mentioned OnlyFans, and I was like, I'll make one if you make one, which he never did, but it was a joke. And so it was just kind of like lingering in my head, and I was like, I'll just make one for fun, right? And I think I had sold like $62 in like the first like couple hours. And I think I put fitness progress photos on there, like sports bra, thong, like totally clothed. And it was just like, here's before my fitness journey, here's what I am now type of thing. Because I didn't have any content. It's not like I didn't have socials. I didn't have any kind of like presence or, so I think a lot of people end up having like, an Instagram account with 500,000 people on it, and then they go and they create an account and convert it. And it's like, I didn't have any of that at all. No one knew me at all.
And this is 2021, so this isn't that long ago.
No, and it's actually the year after. Like 2020 was a huge rise because of COVID and everything. So like a lot of people started on OnlyFans. So I missed that whole year. So yeah, I showed it to Brian. I was like, he's like, what did you sell? And I was like, these photos. He's like, these photos? He's like, we got to go for a walk. Because it was, Sundays have always been like our date days. So like we would go for a lot of walks, cheat days type of food. And we would just kind of catch up and brainstorm and plan for the week. So I took him for a walk. We started looking up like OnlyFans market cap, and he was like 2 million. He's like, okay, it's not a small pond thing. Like this is much bigger than we thought it was going to be. And so then we spent, I think, like $400 or $500 on other people's content. I remember who I bought it from. I remember what we saw, and we were not impressed.
Okay, what? I mean, lay it out there.
It was very lackluster because it's supposed to be this like place where you can connect with somebody and kind of see stuff that you can't normally see, or get a chance to talk to them. Like my example is always like, you can send like a Hail Mary DM on Instagram, but you're probably not going to get a response. Where it's like, if they have this, then you're supposed to be able to like, oh, I actually can talk to her type of thing. Anyway, so the content that we bought, it was always like, it was very misleading. It was like very short clips. It was like 3-second clips and like a quick little bundle. They're all blurry. The lighting is terrible. And it's like, she was like jumping on a couch or something. And I'm like, this doesn't even remotely match what the title says.
But this wasn't even porn at the time. Okay.
No, like fully clothed. So we're looking at it and we're like, well, we could probably do that way better, having zero camera experience, zero production experience. But just the fact that we were like, there seems to be a lot of demand. The product quality seems pretty low. And we have a lot of time on our hands, and this sounds interesting, and we already have traction. Again, coming back to we got traction instantly. Yep. So I was like, okay, cool. What do we need to do now? So it was kind of funny. We're like in our sporting goods store and working on this stuff, and we haven't told anybody else. It's just Brian and I doing it. So like all of a sudden our time shifted like that week to, how do we do this? Do more research. How do we scale it? Okay, how do we get more eyeballs? Do people advertise on here? Like, how does this work? So it was a lot of like R&D for the first couple of months, and then having some conversations like within the first 3 weeks of like, okay, are we going to do this? And then what are the life implications of it? Because obviously there's a lot.
What did those conversations entail?
It was like, are you okay with, because we talk about like one-way doors and two-way doors. Sometimes you can try something out and turn back around and come back. Once you kind of have put your face or your body out there, you can't really come back from that. And to each their own. Like, I understand, like, some people may not want to associate with other people like that. And so, like, I had to know that, like, okay, my family will find out. Or potentially any other, like, business opportunity that we kind of want to do in the future.
Or if this doesn't work out and I have to go find a real job.
I was never concerned about that.
Okay, really?
No,
okay.
No, I think maybe a little blind ambition, but I just always we always believed in our skills and in each other and ourselves that like we could figure that out. Like people could have taken away the sporting goods business and we would have had something back in like no time. Like I feel pretty confident about that. So that part we weren't concerned about. It was more like if we went to build something new or work or partner with somebody, if they were going to hold that against us. And so those were kind of like the conversations and considerations that we had. And we were like, if they're going to hold that against us, they're probably not going to be the right fit for us anyways. And we'd like to do what we'd like to do and be free and have fun. So we were fine with it. And
Was there a point that you almost went the other direction and decided against it?
Not really.
Okay.
It was just more like having all the conversations kind of before you get into it, as much as you can think of. Obviously, there's tons of considerations you won't think of in real time. But no, I don't think it was never like, maybe not. There wasn't much hesitation. It was just like, we're looking for something new. This is a huge challenge that seemingly has a great upside. Let's try it out, kind of thing. I don't think I didn't have much to lose. So.
And I mean, that's not true, because once you put that out there, if it doesn't work out, there are, I mean, you could argue there's a lot to be
You could argue
lost.
it. Maybe it didn't matter to me. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. Because factually, I think you're right. I think for me, I was okay with it. Like it didn't feel like it would be a big loss for me. I think the one thing I hemmed and hawed with was, how do I tell my family? So that was a mistake on my part, actually. I did not tell my family for like a year and a half.
Okay, your mom said 2 years.
It probably was. Okay, she probably marked it in the calendar. Yeah, I waited far too long.
Okay, we can come back to that though. So the 2 or 3 weeks you're doing R&D.
Yes.
That's entailing what?
So a lot of scoping out other people's pages, formulating our page. Who am I? Who am I going to be? And we were like, well, the easiest thing is to just be myself. I'm totally cool with girls having like an alter ego, and this is like a cool outlet for them. But we're like, well, we kind of have a unique story in that, like, we have a gym in our warehouse. Cool, I'm gonna work out anyways. I'll just be myself and talk about, hey, I have an open relationship. Hey, I work out. Hey, these are my things that I'm doing right now. And that was kind of what we rolled with. So then we started to research more about the platform and how we'd want to grow on it, and how do I get more people to see me? And then what do we offer?
and what did you figure out on those latter two fronts?
So we had never, filmed anything. So we're like, we'll just try and make home videos. So we just flop a phone or do a selfie, and we were like, we're really bad at this, but this is what people want. They want like an authentic, like real experience, and not, a gigantic production with a set and everything. I've always kept in the, I trip over the rug, or the light goes out, or, something weird happens and I giggle. Like, I leave all that in because that's what makes it just like feel that real and raw. And we just did that from the get-go. So actually, I think Brian and I did like a year's worth of, we did a video a day for like a year, just trying to like practice. Like, how do we film this and how do we capture it? And then we started to build up more content that we could then send out on OnlyFans to the people who eventually came.
What was the moment you made the switch from kind of the as you guys call it, safe for work content to porn?
Yeah, probably, I think I ended up sending a couple nude photos within like the first week or two. And then I think the videos came like within 2 or 3 weeks after that.
And was that comfortable for you?
Oh, I was great. I was totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I've always been very body comfortable, like totally fine. Like, I'm sure Patty will tell you, like when I moved in, I just walked around the house like naked. I'm like, hello, whatever. I'm going in the pool. And she was like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm great, So I've just always been very like, no problems. So I think it was just an eeasy fit. I don't know, it just never bothered me. Mm-hmm. Which I understand is not typical for everybody.
And why do you think that is for you?
No idea. I don't know. Just have always been kind of like, I feel good.
So Brian, I was reading some story where he said Bryce is, quote, an amalgam of all of us here.
Yeah.
It's not actually her.
Yeah. So obviously it's my face and me. And then what we tried to do was include like all of like the best characteristics that we've had of everybody on the team, if that makes sense. So I was always honest about myself and super transparent, and like all my experiences were real. I would try and do things that would push my comfort zone if we thought it would be a cool experience or a fun story. And
like what?
Well, like I hadn't had too many experiences, like, because obviously I was in a relationship for a really long time with him, and
but you were in an open relationship,
yeah, but
right?
still, like, I don't know, it's different. Like, we don't drink, so we're not like frequently going to the bar and like meeting people.
Right.
So it was just like a very like small thing. The world started to get a little bit bigger when we're like opening up, trying to talk to more people. Like met a swinger couple in Tennessee, and it was like, they're really cool. Like, we just happened to be there, and through a friend, like, that's how that worked. But like, that was a cool experience. Like, I probably, in my head, I was like, I don't know how this will go, but I think it'll be a cool experience, and at least then I can share this story and then talk to people about like how it went and what my thoughts were, and then what I think afterwards. So things like that would be.
And so before this started,
yeah,
I'm gathering maybe you didn't have a lot of sexual partners, and
not a ton,
and then that all started to change through this.
Yeah. So like, first time I kissed a girl was like for a little OF shoot. Like, her and I had just we just sat down and we had like a couple pictures, and it's the cutest thing in the world because we're like all giddy and nervous about it. All of like my firsts, I would document them all and share that. And then obviously being in the chats and in the messages, I could like talk to people about it, and they'd ask cool questions, and they'd give me ideas, tons of ideas.
Okay, you don't have to be too graphic, but like give examples of stuff that you would take people through.
I mean, they'd be like, well, how did you meet this person? Or what were they like? Or what did they do? Did you like that? Like, did they try something new that you've never seen before? So a lot of just like intriguing questions, I guess you would say.
And mainly with sexual stuff.
Mainly that, but also like, for as much adult content OnlyFans is, a lot of people are there to have like comfort and like a friend and somebody who they feel like they can trust. Because a lot of times people don't feel like they can talk to even the people that they're closest to and feel heard. Or maybe they're afraid that the thing that they like is so weird that like they can't really say anything. So it's been neat because like the community that I've built, like it's a safe place. Like I've been able to be vulnerable about like, hey, you know what? I actually kind of like this thing. And I kind of encourage other people to like, as long as you're safe, legal, and healthy, like have at it, try it out. And so a lot of those experiences like fueled my own personal growth, and I feel so thankful that I did all of that because I feel like much better about myself and more confident.
Okay, explain that.
I think for as body positive or fine as I was, I think mentally I got like a lot stronger and a lot more positive about myself, my capabilities, whether that's not just like sexually, but also as a person. Like I feel more confident and more independent and more like accomplished and secure with who I am, and being okay with that and being different than somebody else or not.
Okay,
not
but
chasing.
what created that for you?
I think it was talking to all of these different people on OnlyFans, actually. Getting to know other people and getting to know like their vulnerabilities, sharing mine. It's not one dimensional. I think that's like the biggest misnomer. And that's what always frustrates me is people think the fans are like, they're weird or they're like, like these creeps. And it's like, no, these are normal people. Like these are human beings that have real lives and real feelings, and they're sometimes just looking for a friend and to just hang out and have a good time. I've gotten people who they're like going off to college and they're going on their first date and they want advice, or they're freshly broken up, or they're widowed, or I've had couples come on and they're like, hey, we're looking to spice things up. What ideas you got? I've had people write me and they're like, hey, I know you don't do fitness programs or anything like that, but you inspired me, so wanted to let you know for the last 6 months I've been hitting my fitness journey. I lost 100 pounds. Here's pictures. And I'm like, whoa. And like dozens of times that's happened. So it's just like, it's cool. Like for being like, an adult creator on a platform, it's like, it's so much more than that, which I love to tell people about because everyone thinks it's just this. And it's like, that's a part of it, but not the end all be all.
What do you think the majority of the people come for? Like, is it more that stuff, or I mean, I would assume the majority of your sales are for the like graphic
volume-wise,
content,
sure.
right?
But as far as like chat-wise, it's probably fairly split, but maybe even like a 70-30 type of thing. Like that's an aspect of it, but it's not like there's obviously you're gonna have people who come on like that's the only thing that they do. But a lot of people do the other one.
Because I'm just curious, like what do those conversations go like?
It's full gamut because it's like they have very preferences on like they only want to see like a solo video of me, or they'd like to see like the most extreme thing I've done with 3 other people and they want to see that. Or a lot of people have preferences or kinks or things that they like. So they'll be like, hey, can I get a photo of this? And I'm like, I do have that.
Is there a point where even you start to get creeped out?
Not really. I stick to like, hey, is it legal? Is it consenting? Are we breaking any terms of service? No, then you're golden. Like, or maybe, hey, like if that's your thing, like good for you. Not really my thing. Like, but like that's the route I'll take. Like, I'm not gonna judge somebody for their thing. Like, I would like to not to be judged and be left alone with the things that I like. So I'd like to try and reciprocate the same thing. So I wouldn't say I ever like creeped out like that.
So your vision for the channel was what then as you were kind of figuring it out, and what about today?
I never thought that it would be this.
This meaning what?
The scale that we have. Like,
Which is?
I'm the most followed creator on the platform. So I have like 1.8 million active people just on OnlyFans, which that number on any kind of platform is an astounding number, but to have that many on this platform is a lot. And it's just like, I never expected to have like that kind of like audience or that kind of reach. And it was definitely over the years that we hit different benchmarks and we would try and like come up with like things to do. So going back, like the first year we found there was a site that logged how many likes that you have. Just, you know, people like your posts and stuff and they have a little tracker at the top. And we're like, oh, that's kind of a cool stat. We're like, well, let's see, I wonder if we could be like the most liked creator. That'd be kind of fun. And so being data business people, we figured out a system and we incentivized our fans to go like all of our stuff and we would give them something. And
What would you give them?
I think we rotated it because we would do like sends and I would do like a new picture bundle or a tape or something like that. And it'd be like, go like all my posts and I'll send you this video. And we had software so we could check and see how many they actually liked. We still gave everybody everything, whether they liked 2 posts or 300, but it was just cool because we were trying to see like what actually happened. Again, data testing and then like refining our processes. So I think it was something crazy, like from we started the page to like 8 or 9 months in, we went from no likes to the most liked page. So in under a year, we had the most liked page on the entire platform. So it gave us like, that was a cool mental accomplishment just for us that we wanted to do. And then that helped us a little bit with like getting a little bit of notoriety. And they're like, how did you guys do that? Like, you don't have socials. I didn't have social media for like the first 2 years. So like not even an Instagram account. We kind of focused on just advertising within the community. We figured if I pay other girls to advertise us, they already have fans on the platform. The resistance is a lot lower. They just have to move from their page to mine, as opposed to like going out into the world and trying to find people. So forget where you initially asked me.
Oh, you just vision for the channel then and now.
Yeah. Okay. So I think vision, we were just kind of like, how big can we make this? You know, how far can this go? Brian can probably tell you. He had a saved note and it said like, hey, if we do $550,000 a month, like that's enough for like complete freedom for us. Like imagine if we could get there. And then when we did, by the end of the year, and it was like, oh, well, now what? So we went from 0 sales to like 500 plus K, and you know, for the last month, and it was just like, huh, well, now what? Now what do we do? And we're like, well, we can do this better. We have so much more that like it's not refined, and we don't sell this. You know, our content's still not the greatest. Our, you know, our services still could be better.
How do you? I'm sure you were doing fine in your sporting goods business. You said you were doing better than your parents, but
yeah.
The difference between that and pulling in $500,000 a month, how do you avoid letting that dampen the motivation to kind of continue the grind to build it when all of a sudden you could be doing whatever you want with that sort of money?
So very quickly, the sporting goods business went on the back burner. We're like, oh, we have this other opportunity. Obviously going from like a physical goods business to a digital inventory, night and day, huge. And then obviously much more cash flow. So we hit our kind of like our financial goals, but in a way it was so rewarding for us figuring things out that we were motivated to do more. It was just very self-motivating to us of like, we're still not the best at this. I think we can be better. We can be the best at this particular thing. So it was this like mental challenge that Brian and I had of like, well, here's our gigantic to-do list of things that we think we could still vastly improve upon. We're not going to stop. We're going to keep going. And like, hey, we're hanging out with our friends, making cool stuff and going different places, and we're getting paid for it. This feels good. Maybe we should keep doing that.
Okay, so the grind though entailed what from a time investment perspective?
80, 90, 100-hour weeks. We didn't care. It was like a lot of like building out the things that we have really dialed in now of like, okay, well, when do I do the custom videos? what's my time block for responding to the messages? What's my live show thing going to be? Okay, are we going to offer this or not? Are we testing this? Are we, we have the like, we call it like campaigns to get to the most like page. It was like, that was like a project that spanned many months. And it was like, once we accomplished that, what was going to be the next kind of like mini project within the business?
Okay, so you mentioned live videos, or live shows, custom videos. Like, what are the features that you found most successful for you guys?
So for years, we would sell, building up our video inventory was like our big thing. I ended up having I have like 550 like different videos. So kind of like, once you have that, anybody who's new, all of that is new to them. So it's nice in that you don't have to keep making a ton of new stuff.
And Brian was telling me yesterday, he's like, Bryce maybe does 32 hours a year now of actual, porn, and everything else is kind of the safe for work type content. And he was talking about just how that number's reducing or lessening because you have this catalog now.
Exactly. So like front-ended the catalog building for like the first 2.5 years, and now it's like, cool, we can focus on bringing in more people. So that's now where my time and attention is much more on like that kind of production. But it's still like my face, my body, my presence. So it's like there are certain things that only I can do. So we can automate and systematize as much as possible to give me as much freedom to do the things that only I can do. So live streaming was kind of like the next kind of couple of years. That was like one of our projects too. We built custom software for that. So I have 3 pages and I would want to go live on all of them at the same time and talk to everybody. So we had software that aggregated all the comments, aggregated all the tips. We had commands. So it would be like if a certain thing like hit a goal, like confetti would go up, and just like cool interactive things, basic things for like Twitch streaming, but like OnlyFans didn't have that. So we made all of that.
And how did you do that?
We had, at one point, I think we had like 5 developers on staff.
Okay.
Still have one. And then we have like we've outsourced to like a team of developers that still make a bunch of our software. So, but we did that. We started building like a CRM internally just for us and our page, so we could have real-time data. So we have data log. I have every single piece of data you can only imagine. And we would, chat history, sales history, we track all of our fans, where they come in from, like what platform, what advertiser, what they do, so what their spend arc is, what their lifetime value is. So then they move to pages. Which one do they move from? How? Why? Okay. And then we're able to like make all these small little tweaks of like, okay, well, I want to move them to the VIP page. Which pitch do I use? Do I redo that video? Like, is the caption great? Like every little detail that you could possibly think of about the customer's experience, we would test and get the data and then ask for feedback from the fans, which I think is why we ended up doing so well, is we cared enough to make the experience the best possible experience for the fans and make it the safest environment for them. And then I'm being myself on top of it all. So then they're like, okay, she's real. She's delivering on the promises that she's made, and the content's really good. Like, of course I'm going to stay. So that's kind of been our whole thing.
What's the tool?
The tool. Okay, so that was like our fun little software name. Don't ask me why that's the name, but that's the name. So I have a cat named Kitty. I guess we're not great at naming things. So that was like our hub. So that's where a lot of our software for the live streaming would live. We have queuing software. So like I have a whole inventory for the 550 videos, the price, sales pitch, and we call them video descriptions. It's a selfie video that I do that is unlocked and free whenever we send it out. And it describes what goes on in the video. So I rattle on for like 2-3 minutes telling people what to expect in the video. And I did that for all of them. And I don't think anybody else has ever done that. But all of that's preloaded into the tool. So then when we go to like schedule them out as mass messages, it's ready to go, instead of having to like scroll through like this gigantic vault and find the video and put a title in. So just efficiency purposes, that is in that. And then on the back end, we collect all of the data.
And then the girlfriend's messaging.
Yeah, that was fun. We tried that out for a time period. So to try and get back to as many people as possible, we hired on a team of girlfriends, and they all worked up in the loft in the gym.
But not anymore.
Not anymore.
Okay.
No, I tried it out, and they were never like sales girls. They would just talk to people and answer them because we wanted them to feel heard. And it also differentiated us from other people. So I wanted to try that out, and then I would just chat on just the VIP page for the most part. Because especially then it was like I was doing live streams. I was still making a ton of content, so my time was really limited on the messaging. So now it's like, I'm able to I spend as much time as I can on that, but especially then it was cool because I had like 8 of them. And they would use their names, they would tell people, they'd be like, oh, Bryce is only chatting on our VIP page, but I'm more than happy to get you what you're looking for. By the way, this is Callie. How can I help you? And then it was cool because then like the fans would see them in my content and know who they were, and then also get to talk to them and get to know them too.
Okay, but explain why you did away with it.
So it was operationally not winning, I guess you would say.
That means
it was
what?
a great experience, but it wasn't a net benefit on like the fans and the business. So like some of the fans felt heard, but overall they still wanted to hear from me. And so we did our best with that. And it's, again, they weren't salespeople, so it's not like they're like, oh, well, we're making a lot extra. No, it was just, I was just kind of, paying for them to be there. And like, cause we would pull stats and someone would sell like a $32 video in like 8 hours. And you're like, I didn't even pay for their time kind of thing. And then a lot of them wanted to go do other things. So it kind of just like naturally kind of worked that way, that I was just going to shift to like, hey, I'm just going to probably chat only on the VIP page at that time.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it worked out kind of naturally. It was a cool experiment. We ran it for a long time, but again, trying to make it the best possible experience. People were like, this is cool, but I still want to talk to Bryce.
You mentioned earlier the kind of marketing yourself, and you guys have a pretty substantial advertising budget, right?
Yeah.
Like what do you think you spend in a year on advertising?
$1 million, $1.5 million, something like that. I have a lot of stuff in the bank, if you will. So the on-platform advertising I do with all the other creators, I probably have like $700,000 in ads that I've paid for that I'm waiting to be fulfilled. So that's like, I paid, all these different creators and they send fans to us, but.
Okay, and explain how that works.
So other girls have socials. So like
right.
They may have 10,000 fans on their page and they want to make a little extra money. So, cause fans come and go,
right.
like it's, there's a time for them, and some of them just fall off and aren't as interested. So then the girls are like, well, if they're not going to, stick around for me, maybe I can at least give them somebody else and make a little money from it. Cool. Most people do that. They'll like pay 2 or 3 girls. I have like 350 active right now, and I maxed out at like 650, like actively like pushing things to us. So it's a very unique market in that we pay in full. There's no guarantee that they're going to fulfill it. And usually it's in a non-refundable format. So you're like, all right, please do it.
You wouldn't have hundreds of thousands of dollars just outstanding there right now if you weren't confident it would get fulfilled.
I would venture probably 15% of it I'll never see, maybe 20%. But it's kind of like this like little bit of rotating inventory over there. And I'm always trying to do what I can to like, help with their fulfillment, fresh content, stuff like that. But
so is most of the $1 million or plus dollars a year you spend on advertising that sort of advertising?
Most of it's that.
Okay.
Occasionally we'll dabble in like, pushing out some Instagram ads or something. There's a couple sites that are kind of like, they have like SEO search, and it's like people will find models that way. So there's a couple there that I spend a pretty penny with that just trying again. They have other third-party sites, so it's just pushing out to a different audience than what I'm hitting naturally to just get more people in. So
how long do you want to do this for?
People ask me that. I don't have like for as long as they're around. I mean, I don't have plans to go anywhere. I'm very thankful to have the platform and the opportunity. And it's like, I've done so much effort putting into it. Like I have a good system and a good team, and I want, them to be happy and fulfilled. So like, as long as I can, and as long as it makes sense to, I guess.
I mean, because we have a group research call that we were having yesterday, and somebody made the comment on the call saying like, I can't imagine, decades from now when Bryce is older, she's going to want to be creating new porn videos for the.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Brian yesterday, and he's like, "Well, there's a market for MILFs." But I mean, could you see yourself doing that?
Maybe. I truly, like, everyone's always like, "What's your 5-year plan?" And I'm like, I'm not there yet. I'm still figuring out plans for the next month or 2 type of thing. I'm just trying to have as much fun as I can, learn as much as I can, hang out with like the people I love. Like that's like it.
What's a typical weekly schedule entail for you today?
So, workout every day. We do production probably 5 days a week. Usually short form content, YouTube shorts, reels, stuff like that. That's primarily where a lot of our content is.
The safe for work content.
All safe for work, yeah. So
why is that kind of the majority of the content creation now?
Going back to the on-platform advertising with all the girls, I kind of reached a cap of that market. Like we had maximized reaching out to everybody we could possibly reach. And we're like, well, we still want to get more people. And going back to like, well, what can we do to have fun, build some more skills, and what are we bad at? And I was like, well, we don't know socials. And everybody on this platform has socials. Let's try that. So now that's become like my primary focus of like, how can I get better at content, make cool things that are engaging that, people like and watch? And how can I be better talent? Like, how can I be better on camera? Do I have a cool skill? That's why I'm doing like gymnastics, because it's like I can do that anywhere. I don't have to have like a physical, object to do a skill. So, and it's fun. It's like I get to hang out with my friends and goof off in the gym, and we get paid to just say whatever and do whatever. And it's like, oh, that didn't go according to plan, but we all had fun and it worked, so. And
you would test stuff out on the safe for work platforms in the same way you would anything else?
Yeah, we collect data on all of that. We watch what happens, then we we'll redo stuff and make little tweaks. I'm not...
In the benefit you found it having to the operation?
Huge, yeah. It's just driving a whole nother set of different traffic to our OnlyFans page. Now that is currently the only, product I have for sale. Like I don't have a quote safe for work product. It's not like I sell, a gym line of clothing or a protein powder or, a shirt line or anything. I just don't have any of that. So it's like, if people want to support me and they like me or they want to get to know me more, because I think the socials content is like, they see a glimpse of me or my friend group, and it's like, they want to see more of it. Mm-hmm. And the OnlyFans is kind of the way to do that, like kind of peeking behind the curtain. So we'll post BTS stuff on there and just everything that you can probably, imagine is on there.
Most money you've ever made in a year?
Probably this year. I think we're on track for like 13, 14 million in sales.
And off that, you guys would net what?
8, something like that.
And how does the split work with you and Brian?
Partners.
Okay.
Yeah, 50-50.
50-50.
Yeah.
How do you manage the money?
I manage it.
Okay,
how?
How?
I think going back to like being 17 and like doing the sporting goods, I always did our books. Like I did QuickBooks for years and did our taxes. So like I handle that. I have an accountant and they do our payroll, but like I'm kind of like the front end of like making sure all of that is, how it is. It's part of like my morning routine. Like I'll log into OnlyFans, I'll look at our sales, I'll request payouts from them, and just from there it's just like, okay, cool, dump that in the savings, pay off the credit card. Oh, we booked a trip, cool, all right.
Like do you invest it?
A lot of it, we invest back into the company and the business, so it goes into ads or it goes into team, or hey, we're building a server, all right, we're gonna get these cool things because that's gonna make our team much more efficient, or hey, we're gonna go on this trip, we're gonna go to Vermont, we're gonna go snowboarding, here's the content we're gonna shoot, here's the team that's going, like all of that. And then into the property, obviously, as well, to make it like the badass property that it is.
I mean, stocks, mutual funds, anything like that?
Yeah, okay. Not a ton. So people are always like, why don't you have like a Roth IRA? Or why don't you have, all of this in stocks? And it's like, because every single time that we've ever put money back into ourselves, we've been able to make like way more back from it. So I think that's just like the philosophy that Brian and I have, which is probably not like the safest bet compared to other people, but it's worked for 15 years for us. So we're just going to keep doing that.
Okay, I mentioned I'd come back to the telling the parents part later.
Okay.
Well, why hold off on telling them?
I'm an idiot. I should not have. It was just like a personal thing. I was so afraid to do it that I made it in a much bigger deal for myself and probably everybody. Because I think it was like a year. Brian's like, just talk to them. Just tell them. Just tell them. And I was like, I'll do it. And then it was Father's Day and we went to brunch.
And why would you tell your dad on Father's Day?
I don't know. We had a great brunch. And I was like,
hey, Dad, by the way, I'm putting sex videos on the internet.
Well, because we moved here and they're like, okay, like, how's the new business? I'm like, it's great. But like, I wouldn't say anything else. And yeah, so after we left, I was like, I should have done it. So then I just called them and I put them on speaker. And I was like, all right, I gotta tell you something. So, do you guys know what OnlyFans is? And they're like, no. I was like, okay. So I had to explain what the platform was. And then I remember being like, okay, so like I have subscribers and they follow me and they want to get to know me. And I was like, and like I do adult, like I have adult videos and I tell them, they're like, okay. And like same tone, like the whole time. And I was like, and I think I reiterated it one time because I was like, maybe I broke up and they didn't hear me, you know, because I was expecting a more bold reaction. And they're like, no, okay, all right, cool. As long as you're doing what you want and you're safe and happy. And I was like, okay, cool, thanks. Talk to you later. And they're like, yep, see ya. And I was like, all right, that was it. And I called my sister, pretty much did the same thing. Actually.
She responded differently, right? Or
I think she was like a little bit more conservative about it, just a little more hesitation. And we still don't talk much about it. I think she doesn't want to know like details.
Even you and your sister did or did not?
Don't, no.
Because even talking to your mom yesterday, she was like, look, I mean, if I'm being honest, it wouldn't be my first choice for a career path.
Yeah.
But what sorts of conversations will you have with the family about it? Or is it just kind of a topic you stay away from?
Well, we're pretty like, at this point, I think everything's like pretty out in the open. It's not like this like small secret thing where it's like, oh, I have like 500 people and nobody's gonna talk about it. No, I mean, it's like Washington Post was here, you're here. You know, like things go on that it's like, you can't really like hide that kind of thing. So, but like when I do live shows and it's like something funny happens or we hit a new record, like when we have family like get-togethers, we're like, oh, this cool thing happened, and we tell them the whole story, or we'll tell them about how one friend did this goofy thing, and then, you know, whatever kind of goes on. It's just like, because this is our life, and to us, it's like kind of normal that all these things happen, and like.
How does family avoid stumbling across your content?
Oh, I don't think they do. Well, my mom avoids it by not having socials, but that's just her. She's just like not, you know. My dad has Facebook, and a couple times he's like, "Oh, your Facebook reel came up. The one with like where you were doing a lap pull and don't have a shirt on." He's like, "Brian's reaction was great," you know. So like he'll just say things like that. I think we pop because we post so much and we are all over the place. I think it's almost impossible at this point for people not to see it. So they can't see the not safe for work stuff unless they join OnlyFans. So it's like, if I can post it on YouTube, it's safe. You know what I mean? So it's like everybody thinks it's amusing or fun or, you know, entertaining to say the least.
Although we don't, in fairness, subscribe to OnlyFans, and as we were researching you, stuff pops up and leaks on Google, and so you know sometimes you just I
have a DMCA company, and they're always fighting that, and that is an unfortunate side effect. Again, the whole one-way door of like you can't take that back. Like someone's always going to be taking something and putting it there. So
how did you and Brian meet?
Okay, so we met in career class at our very small high school. It was a class that met for 1 hour once a week. And we sat one chair apart from each other. There was this random kid named Jake in between us. And I thought he was really funny. So I made Jake move. So I swapped seats with him. And I did a lot of Brian's homework for whatever reason. So.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I would do mine, then I would do his, and then I would like share it with him.
Were you a better student?
Arguably, yes, but he didn't have to try in school. He kind of just took like honors and regular classes, and he cruised. He just cared about baseball. I took like AP classes and all of that. He did we both dual enrolled, so we were taking college classes like our senior years. But I think I was trying really hard, and he was kind of like, whatever. So, but yeah, so we met in high school, and we were friends for like the first 6 months, and he kindly pointed out to me that my boyfriend at the time was not great. So
what did he say?
I was like, you know what, he is not great. So I left him and went out with Brian, which was the right call by far. Yeah, I'm very thankful to have met him, because I definitely would not be who I am or where I am without him. We very much have grown up together and like built a lot of these things and these skills together. So like very happy that I did that.
Why do you think the relationship worked so well for so long?
I think we very quickly were like glue. I know people get like sick of their partners a lot and they have to spend certain time apart. We would spend days, like endless days together. And I think we just found, I wanted to support him in whatever he wanted to do. And almost to like a fault where I was just like, I just want to help. Like, this sounds cool. This sounds fun. Like, I guess I've kind of always been that way, and that like I will work hard, and then I want to make sure that we're both accomplishing the things that we want to accomplish. If you're not, or you need more support, or there's something I can do, like, let me know, because it feels fulfilling to me to like help. So I think right away we kind of knew how we could work together, even just personally and then eventually professionally, like how we can kind of complement each other and have a good time and have fun. And I don't know, I think that's all we did is we tried to find ways to have fun. Like even in the sporting goods business, it was fun for us going and finding the bats and like working and building our business.
Yeah, and your personal lives are intertwined, your professional lives are intertwined. How many years were you guys together for?
Like 15 and a half years?
15 and a half.
Yeah, it's a long time. Like half my life.
So looking back now, was an open relationship the right call?
I think ultimately, yeah. It made me learn like a lot more about like life and people and myself.
How so?
Just like it pushed me to feel uncomfortable and question things of like, why do I want things to be a certain way? And is there an actual reason behind it? Or is it just some sort of emotion because I feel uncomfortable? And can I get through that? I'm actually going to be a stronger person or more independent if I like challenge myself and like, is this conventional thought applicable to me or not? And maybe it is, and maybe it's not, but maybe I should at least like think through it as opposed to just reacting and being like, nope, like not. And it let me end up like growing and like experiencing other people and having these cool moments that I can now reflect on and be like, I learned something new that I liked. So now that was something that, I would take back and be like, hey, Brian, this cool thing I learned, like watch this, like it was just fun. It was like another way for us to keep more excitement, I guess you'd say, more things to talk about and just, be closer, I guess, because it's like we're both experiencing something that's a little bit different than what most people would experience.
I Zoomed with both of you guys, maybe it was a few months ago, and Brian made the comment, actually it's been recently because, we both developed feelings for colleagues, but we're kind of getting through to the other side of that now. Where was stuff then, and explain how that compares to today, because it took a turn.
Yeah. So we've had the open relationship for like years. And by the way, initially I was like very resistant, but I was also like 19 and like, my boyfriend, I don't know anything else. It's hard because it's like you're doing something that's like so intimate, so close with people, and it can be fun. And as long as you have like the right headspace, that's cool. But it definitely puts a mental, it's a challenge to not feel like I feel connected to this person in more ways than one. So we kind of independently, we worked through different challenges. Like I definitely had, inklings of jealousy over the last, few years where I had to work through that and not feel certain way. Brian was like, he felt totally fine. He's right away, never had that.
He had said, in the open relationship, he often dated other people, but you really didn't.
That was it, yeah. So for many years, that was kind of that dynamic. And I think that was me being a little closed-minded, a little well, if you can do your thing, I won't. I'm just gonna be here. And I think that was just more of I was a little afraid of my doing anything. So I was just
okay, explain that.
Here. I think it was just I wanted to work, and then I wanted to have him, and I felt fulfilled enough at that time with that and busy enough that I was I can't fathom having another complication of anything going on. And I think I was just scared too, truthfully.
Mm-hmm. You wanted to see other people too, or you really didn't, but didn't want to tell him?
Oh, no, I think I didn't, and I think I told him I'm good, but you can.
And did you really want that, or
at the time,
you just felt?
No. I think I just felt scared to even try. That would be a comfort thing.
I mean, were you genuinely okay with him seeing other people, or did you really not want him to, but you were just too self-conscious to tell him not to?
A mix, definitely, depending on who it was and what things were going on.
Yeah.
So, but I tried really hard to be supportive. So.
He told me. I would give a lot to reverse course and go back and do things differently.
Yeah, it was tough.
Explain that.
You learn having gone through things, and you would look back and be I would do that differently, or I'd not make that decision, but make this one. So just times like that where it was he should have been home earlier or something, or, had a better plan, of hey, I'm going to hang out with this person until this time, and then we're going to come home, we're going to do this thing. And I'd be okay, cool. And sometimes we'd lay out a plan, but that wouldn't happen, or I would feel bad, and he wouldn't take care of it as he should have or something. So like now that we've gone through those experiences and we've recapped them, like we as adults have gone back through them like, oh, that was a bad decision, or hey, I should have been more supportive for you, or hey, you should have been more supportive for me in these ways. And it's like you can plan as much as you want ahead of time, but it's really hard to know where you're going to make the mistakes, obviously. And so it's like, we made a lot of mistakes. So like I would do a lot of things differently, and I'm sure he would.
What would you do differently?
I probably would have asked for him to do less than he did. I probably
Meaning what?
Like if he had, let's say, like 3 or 4 other relationships over the course of years, I probably would have said like, not that one. Like let's skip that one. Or hey, I'd rather spend more time together. Kind of like I think I would have set stronger lines for myself, and or waited till I was a stronger person to kind of be able to support him. I think I was like trying to support, but I was still a little too weak to do it.
And he said because basically you allowed that, then when it's been your turn more recently, he didn't want to say you can't.
Yeah, exactly. So it was an interesting turn of events because it's not like something you plan. You're not like, you know what, I'm going to like this person, So that was being like kind of like my first-ish time. I think it was different for him because he was so used to me just being like, I'm good, I'm going to be here, which I was consistently for, 12-something years at the time. And then it's like, well, I think I will dabble. That's a big adjustment for somebody who's used to like their partner being like just sitting on the sidelines kind of thing. So yeah, I think he went through some of those things of like trying to figure out how to navigate that, and how does he now be supportive? Because it was kind of like a thing like we talked about and he said he would do, but then it was like, well, now it's the time we actually have to do it, and we have to like figure out what this means, and like, okay, well now what's our schedule like? And like, will I see you for dinner? Okay, cool. Or hey, designated days. Like it's adding that in is like a whole different dynamic for sure, and a lot to figure out, and I can see why some people struggle with it.
And there was a point where he said, like, I no longer want to do the open relationship thing, but you said you still did. Why?
I think one of those things is like once you kind of like have seen something, it's hard to, you can't like unsee it. So for me, I was like, well, I want to try and figure this out, and I want you to be happy, and I want me to be happy, and I want us to do what will make us happy ultimately. And now we can't like self-sacrifice for each other either. So, and where's the line for like what's, stressful or not? Where's, how can we both win here? So that's kind of where it came down to, is like, well, I don't want to make myself unhappy to make you happy, and I don't want you to be unhappy to make me happy. So like, is there a way to figure this out? Is there a compromise of sorts, or is there a trade-off that we can make? So just tried to dabble through all of that. And
the context here is basically which you guys had kind of initially alluded to, and then Brian shared more with me yesterday, that you each developed feelings for somebody on staff. Brian let go of the person that he had developed feelings for. But you didn't want to let go of the person that you developed feelings for.
It made sense, and it was the right call, I think, for him to do that. And I didn't ask him to do that either. Like, he did it, I think, for me, and I appreciated that, and I said as much, and I always was supportive of him in his other relationships. I don't think I ever said like no or anything like that. So I think it came to this, and I was like, I'd like the same kind of treatment, if you will. Like, I would prefer not to give this up. Like, I enjoy it, I have a good time, and I've always been supportive of you. So like, some reciprocation kind of thing. And
I should also point out that, as I understand it, there, because of what goes on here, there are contracts signed by employees from the outset that permits this behavior, because it's also documented on the internet.
We're making content, et cetera. Doing live streams, so it's very layered.
But I understand at one point when he did let go of the person you were having the relationship with, it did not go well.
No, it did not go well.
How did that get navigated?
Emotions are complicated. it's hard when you love somebody who's your partner for so long and still do. Sometimes you're gonna have to do things for yourself. So I chose to do the harder path for me, which was separating myself from Brian in our relationship at this point. We're still really good friends. We're still gonna run the businesses together, like stuff like that. He's still my best friend. But instead of trying to do things that I think are not me, because I think we want different things ultimately at this point.
How so?
I think he may be at the point where he's like over the open relationship part, and I'm like kind of started that journey, and it's like I can't unlike somebody, and somebody's important to me, and it's like I also would like to be able to just feel freedom and feel supported and independent and know that I can do things myself, because in a lot of ways I haven't adulted by myself. It's always been the two of us, which benefits and not in that, like, always all reliable there, and we have each other. But yeah, I think forcing people to do things that they don't want to do is not going to work. So me forcing anything on Brian is not going to work, and it's not going to make him happy. And
it seems like, there's still some, negative feelings. Or when we were talking yesterday on the phone, you said, I don't recognize her. Totally delusional and lost and tearing her life down to make sure a 23-year-old kid likes her.
Nah, not true.
How do you, because the personal and professional lives are
so
intertwined. Like, how do you figure
that out?
Yeah.
Like, how are Brian and I figuring it out? We're really amicable, I think.
But and I get that. But even if you are, there's still clearly
there's a lot.
Underlying tension there. I was talking to Hannah yesterday, and she was like, I shoot content, and when I'm shooting with Bryce and Brian, it's just, I'm putting words in her mouth right now, but it's just not fun because the tension's there and in good moves, where if I'm shooting with other talent, it's the exact opposite.
I think because we were trying to figure it out there, we probably didn't do the best job that we could have putting on the best professional faces. So that's our fault.
What would you say was the single lowest point and how you got through it?
It's hard to pick like a low point, because it's kind of like, now that I've made the decision that I made, it's like kind of that's like the lowest point, because it's like very challenging to try and now separate from your life partner.
What was the moment where that decision was made?
Probably a few weeks back. We were just having like a conversation of like, okay, well, do we try? And had like a list of like a couple things we were going to try and do differently.
Google Docs.
Yeah, lots of Google Docs.
Couple hours a day spent on it.
It's a good way to like brainstorm and like comment back and forth without like having to have like a conversation, because you end up having side tangents and you worry about tones and like or you think somebody's not hearing you, but if you put it in ink, it's like easier to converse and you get people's points better.
But so lowest point a few weeks back,
probably because it's like all this pressure of like.
So if you don't mind, take me to that moment and like what you recall.
For a couple days, I was thinking about it, because we were like trying to figure out, all right, well, here's like our new work structure. Here's how we think we can try some things. Like, what would make you happy? What would make you happy? Okay, all right. So like, these are the things I would need. Okay, these are the things I have to change, vice versa. So we like bullet pointed this whole thing out, and I was just like, do I do that? Because obviously, any relationship, you have like ebbs and flows. And over the years, obviously different challenges, the open relationship, different business things, or like, in anything, like your partner, you ask for certain things and certain things frustrate you, and vice versa. I am a habitual mumbler, by the way. No one can hear me. So it's been a big complaint of a lot of people. They're like, I never can hear you. So I have plenty of things I need to get better at. And I realized that probably the harder thing for me would be to say no, to keep going. That would be it would be easier to say yes and keep doing the things that I'm comfortable with. Kind of like, I know how to fight with Brian. I know how to talk to Brian. I know how to do those things. I don't know how to do stuff on my own. I don't know how to make some of these, things that we would make decisions on together by myself. And I wonder if I need some of that. So it was kind of like this low point of feeling kind of like I'm going to make myself alone. And I have a real chance of blowing a lot of this up, which is bad for everyone, for me, for Brian, for our team. I care about them a lot. And so I was really worried about that for a while because I don't want to affect them. But it's hard because it's our business is my life. And they're so integrated into it, and I just care about making sure that they're okay. And they're a bunch of sweeties, so they're like, no, as long as you're okay, we're okay. So, so yeah, it's that. It's this weird, am I going to be okay? I think I will be. And to be fair, by the time people see this, I will have told the world. I scheduled a live show on OnlyFans to tell my fans a big life update. And so I'm going to tell everybody because it's authentic to me in our life of keeping them in the loop of what's going on. I'm not going to have a thing about oh, everything's fine. No, they deserve to know and support me. So yeah, thank you. Sorry. Anyways, so yeah, it's probably a couple weeks ago would be probably the lowest, just because it's such a drastic life change.
How's it been since?
Overall, good. It's a lot to figure out when you're dividing everything up and deciding who's going to be where and why and what stuff, and because we've always had everything together, all of our accounts, the houses, the cars,
but never married.
Never married, yeah. So we're getting a divorce without the official paper of divorce. Right. But no, we've been really amicable. We're both very straightforward. Put it all on a sheet. What's the values? What's what? How do we split it? Okay, cool. What documents do we need to change? We're not I'm never gonna be that guy was horrible. No, we're all right. We're good. So, and I think he's excited because he's moving to Vegas, so he's gonna have the time of his life. But
and correct me if I'm wrong, still has 50% of the company.
Mm-hmm. And we're still gonna see each other probably every 6-8 weeks or so, because we're gonna get together between him coming here, us traveling, stuff like that. We already have plans to go out there in October for some content anyway, so he'll participate in that too.
What did it entail kind of working out the divorce?
We got a transaction lawyer. We're okay, hey, we made this decision. We are super amicable. I made a sheet actually of all of our assets, all of the values. And then we kind of went through it and we're well, what do you want? What do I want? Okay, cool. You get the Cybertruck. I'll buy the TRX. It's just there's not that much to fight about. So
what about on the business front?
Business, we decided to keep the same because that works. That's
was there ever any doubt in your mind that you'd want to keep it that way?
Not really. We built it together. Even if I wanted to entertain that thought, it's how do you value the Bryce brand, and then how do I value that, and then how do I buy him out of that? It's an extremely I wouldn't even know how to value it and or how to pay for that, and or it just wouldn't make sense. Plus, he still has good value for the company, and it's okay, I can use the contributions, and he also wants to still benefit, and he wants to see us, and he's super supportive. So he's
right.
I want you to make great content. I want you to go, garden, have fun with your friends, and go explore and do the things that you want to do. I fully support and endorse it. So,
any concerns about having him less involved?
No, I feel pretty good. So I'm handling all the day-to-day operations here, which I've done periodically before because he's gone down rabbit holes of different projects and stuff. So I'm more than capable of doing that. And he's just a phone call away in case I need a consult or something. So I feel totally good.
I mentioned this to him, and then also to your mom, and it seemed like the reaction was never say never. Likelihood you guys one day get back together?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm barely thinking about next week right now. I don't know. Yeah, I guess you could say never, and I don't know who I'm gonna be in.
Okay, gut though.
Years. Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea.
When you're going through a breakup, even when the person isn't connected to your business, inevitably it impacts your professional life. I'd imagine even more so when professional and personal life are intertwined. He was saying yesterday he feels like because you guys have been kind of battling, that you guys are probably a year behind business-wise where you would otherwise have been if stuff was going well between the two of you.
Yeah, we've had similar conversations. Just because the personal overlaps so much with the business, it's like, well, if we're having a squabble, then all of a sudden that may derail a production shoot, which then, just trickles into like, well, that's less content we make, that's less that gets posted, it's less people see us. So it makes sense for us while we were figuring out a lot of these things and these hardships that like, we were not as productive as we could have been. We were not optimized at doing our roles in the business, so probably. And I'm kind of excited now because it's like, if we don't have that in the way here, we can now accelerate and, go full speed at the things that we want to go accomplish in the company.
So on the personal life now, are you in, okay, I wasn't sure if you're in an exclusive relationship
I'm
with.
fine and single right now, so that'll be, I've never said that before. God, that's so weird. Ugh.
And I mean, you're seeing like somebody on staff, but that's an open.
It's like a casual thing.
Okay, got it. And
I don't know. I put like no thought into that stuff right now.
Do you think you ever are in a exclusive monogamous relationship?
Like going forward? I could see it. Time, place, people. I don't know. Right now I'm trying to be as like relaxed, calm, open, like as I can be about things. I'm trying to have the least amount of stress. Like I'm already just trying to like just dial in like some of these separating all of the things and the legal documents and just moving him out of state is a big thing in general, and just like adjusting our business and what my responsibilities are going to be. So it's like my headspace is there.
When does that happen?
He's moving, what day is today? Thursday? In like 5 days.
Okay.
Which is crazy. We shipped out the Cybertruck and his stuff a couple days ago. So, but him and a couple of our team members are flying out all together Monday. Gonna get him set. We're gonna do a day of content in Vegas, and then me and the team are flying back. So.
What do you think single life's gonna be like?
God, I started to think about this, and I'm like, it's gonna be interesting. Since I took my ring off, I already had like way more people talking to me, which I was like.
Wait, and explain the ring.
Okay, so I have a ring that Brian gave me 10 days after we started dating. It's an I love you ring. It's really, really, it's one of my prized possessions and still will be. And I've wanted since he gave it to me actually. But I always had it on this hand, so people would assume I'm married and stuff like that, and I didn't realize what a deterrent that could be until I think it was gardening, so I took it off because I was not trying to have dirt, and I went to Academy Sports or something, and I got to talk to you like a bunch, and I was like, this is weird, and I was like, oh, I wonder if it's that. So it's just like little things like that are just like changing, and like me going out by myself, which is slightly scary. It's like, I don't know, I need to be careful, and I'm still trying to figure all of that out. And there's this different layer too where people know who I am from OnlyFans, but in a way they wouldn't come up to me or say something, so then they have to say or be wherever they are and be like, I know you from OnlyFans. So most people don't like to like bring that up at their dinner table. But now that we have socials, and it's like, well, they could have seen me on YouTube or Instagram. So now they have a reason to come up to me. So like, I've kind of like, I'm hitting the single mark with this also accelerating. So there's more reasons for people to come up to me. And so I have this other layer of like, does this person, like I'm thinking about this. I'm like, does this person know me from like my content, and they're just, or they've talked to me online and now they're kind of going to circle around. Like this is weird little mind thing of like, what do? I get why famous people date famous people. Like it makes more sense. It's safe.
So given that you're completely out there because of OnlyFans. Like, what do you think about dating now
Oh my God.
post that?
This is the first time I'm thinking about this, so I think it'll automatically filter out a lot of people probably, because they're probably like, well, I'm not cool with that, or I don't want to be, I don't want my, spouse to do that. But it's also like, if that's a thing that I'm currently doing or building, then theoretically anybody who I will engage with would want to support the things that I'm doing on, or we would have to have a lot of commonalities in that way. So I think they're kind of like self-selection.
I mean, could you ever see not doing the porn work if the person you're seeing isn't cool with it?
Maybe. I mean, I have enough of a catalog.
Yeah.
I also could see like, trimming things down. So it's like, well, I don't have to do a crazy video, but if I'm doing a solo video or doing a live stream with just my fans and it's just me, like that I feel like is, compromise, if you will.
Yeah.
But it'll be an interesting time.
Okay, so what do you look for in a dude?
Oh God, we're going there? I have no clue at this point. Like, what am I gonna do? Describe, like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm right now gonna just focus on myself and like being happy.
Kids?
I would like kids. I don't have a timetable on that. I feel like I'm young enough. Like, people are having kids in their 40s, so I'm like, I feel good. I have plenty of time.
Okay, here's one that we had. How do you, operating under the assumption you one day to have kids, I'm sure this has crossed your mind before.
Yes.
How do you have that conversation when, little Johnny comes home from elementary school one day and heard something from a buddy, or middle school, whatever?
Yeah. I feel like that you just kind of have to have like an age-appropriate conversation, I'm not going to try and lie or deceive or twist things. I would just try and have like a mature conversation that is, age appropriate and setting expectations and stuff like that. I think the world's changing a lot too. Like, the amount of people that, accept people as creators now than they did even 4 years ago when I started is drastically different. So I think even by that time period, it might be a totally different thing. They're a little bit more like loose and like, it's okay, like kind of a little bit more talked about freely.
I want to ask you a little bit about just the industry in general, but specific to momentarily the porn industry. Like, how do you view that?
It's weird because it's like, technically I do adult content, but it's so vastly different from mainstream, like porn and companies there with sets and scripts and agencies. Like, it's hard because like, there's definitely like an overlap there, but we're so vastly different.
How do you view that side of it?
I'm really not that well educated in it because it's not like I've dipped my toe into it. I know a couple people that are more mainstream, and everyone's been super nice. I've heard, great stories, bad stories, and I think it's
like what are the bad sorts of?
Oh, just like mistreatment from agencies, or royalty splits being, or they get no rights to a video and they thought they did, or just like being on set for 12 hours doing a very labor intensive thing, and it's like, oh, and then it never gets edited and they didn't get paid. So for as much as I'm in the space, I'm so not educated on that side of things, so I'm very hesitant even giving like a formulated opinion because I don't have great data. And to be fair to me, like, we were so heads down on the stuff that we're doing that I just kind of blocked it all out.
How do you practice like safe sex?
Yeah.
In the industry to like avoid
that's
diseases.
Actually super important. There are designated testing centers that have databases, and you go in and you have to be tested a certain window before you're going to do a shoot. They also have an online database so that if I'm collaborating with somebody and I want to look up and see when their last test date was, I can look it up, I can see the results, see they were all clear, look like through like their history. So it's very like open, very communicative, and everyone's very safe about all that. And even here,
are there like
things,
parameters that you guys put in place where you require like?
Yeah, I would have to. It's been a minute since I've done all of that. So, but there were certain time frames. Like people had preferences, but it was like, a lot of times it was like the day before you would go get a test because they would expedite the turnaround times, and it would be like within 4 hours you had a result. And I think that's just the safest thing for everybody anyways. But everyone's very considerate. Like, even when we would work with people, we would have, even if we weren't collaborating and we had like, or just our friend group was just kind of like we'd do a live stream and me and the girls or something. And it's like, well, just in case, we would do like a monthly test for everybody here and everyone would have the results. And like if somebody happened to do a hookup with somebody, they kind of like took themselves out of the game, would go, get their own independent test, clear, and then we would do another round like a month later, and they'd be clear, and be like, okay, cool, you're back in the live show group, like that kind of thing. So I don't know, it was always really great.
How many creators, because I understand from kind of reading a bit about either these collaboration type things, how many creators' careers have you guys launched?
Ooh, I mean, a lot of the friends that worked here all kind of started a page, just like gift and a curse, because it's like, I want you to work for me, but here's a new job that you're gonna go make, 50x what I can pay you.
And explain how that works, like what a collaboration is, and
so there's
how
different
that's played out here.
layers to a collaboration. So like it could be a creator to creator, so like they have their own page, I have my page, and it's just like we would get together and we would do a socials collab. So we would try and send fans to each other, or we would do a post on OnlyFans, or we would do a not safe for work video, and we both would launch it simultaneously. And then again, it's just like, okay, I have a piece of content now we both can sell, and also like my fans will see you and your fans will see me. We can, share fans.
And is there the exchange of money in
that
instance, or is it
instance,
just everybody takes whatever they can make off of?
Most of the time it's like just shared ownership of the content.
But what about with somebody new and starting out?
Then that would be different, because it's like we had so many fans that almost like anytime somebody launched, a post on my page, they would get thousands of people. So it's like the best form of advertising, like hot leads right away. So a lot of my friends that ended up making their pages, like I would integrate them into the page, into the live shows, into the videos, and it's like they didn't need to do any other advertising. Like we were their advertising. So then we would just take a portion of their sales.
And what sort of cut do you guys
It would
get?
range between like 25 to 30-ish%. Depending on the size of them, how active they were, what was going on. We tried a bunch of different agreements over the years.
Which anybody in their right mind, if they want to get in the industry and don't have any following, and here the most liked person or followed person is going to do it, what's a quarter of your business for that kind of following? What's the most, what the most financial success one of the creators have had that you've launched?
I think she's probably going to do a little over $1 million this year, and she's on like year 3, I think, and very casual. Like none of them took it as serious as us. I'm talking like they post like 2 or 3 reels a week. They might take a couple new photos a week. Like they're very casual. They don't do like any other advertising. This is like the thing that they do, and they kind of dabble on other things. So not bad for a casual job. My one friend, she's really cool. She did it. Managed everything. Like she kept it very small, like a very tight paid page, a couple hundred people. She did it through college. She just graduated and she said, I'm done, I'm good. And she paid for all of her college. She racked up a couple $100,000, saved it, and she's like, I'm gonna go do new things now. And it was just like, it was cool. Like she had fun. She ran a business. She grew from the experience. She paid for her college. Now she's gonna go do the next thing. And it was like, all right, sweet.
You'll talk occasionally, I think, to the C-suite at OnlyFans.
Yeah.
What do those conversations entail?
They're really awesome. Honestly, I have nothing but great things to say about the C-suite over there and ownership. I've talked to all of them, and they've always treated me exceptionally well. They care immensely about the fans and the creators. They're huge on like safeties for the creators themselves and making sure that the fan environment is right. And they've also tried to stress that the platform's not just for adult creators. They support, obviously, but they rolled out something called OFTV, which is kind of like YouTube, but their version of it. And they have their own shows, and then they support creators like myself to have our own channels to create long form content and put it out there. So you don't have to be an adult creator to be a creator on OnlyFans, but it's also, they've given us another way to get more traffic to our pages. So honestly, they're like, hey, what bugs have you found? What things can we do better? Hey, we're rolling out this new safety thing. Just so you guys know, do you have any feedback for us? Hey, we're doing this PR thing. Would you like to comment? Like, just overall really cool. And they're really great with their merchandise. They're always so generous to us.
Oh, how's that?
Yeah, they always support the creators. So like they'll mail you like a goodie box of like their latest thing. They'll do like a summer line. It's like, oh, cool hats and bikinis and scrunchies and just nice fun stuff.
Any thoughts on, they've gotten kind of rightly criticized before for content moderation for stuff that's slipped through the cracks, that's been awful and should never be allowed. But they have tens of millions of pieces of content that get uploaded a month, so I'd imagine that's a problem. But any thoughts on just how they handle content moderation?
They've done, from everything that I've seen, they are all over it. Like, they try exceedingly hard to become a creator. You have to do this like KYC, and you have to have proof of identity, and they're constantly like rerunning. Like, as a creator, like, I've gotten pinged a couple different times. They're like, hey, we want to re-verify your identity. Please submit these documents. And I'm happy to, obviously.
And like, what happens in those situations?
You're verifying that you are who you say you are who is appearing in the content. They have a bunch of things on the back end. I think a lot of it's obviously software and AI at this point, but like every single piece of content that you upload, you have to tag who's in it. And they have to be, above age, registered. Like, everything has to be, like, I have documents for every single person who's ever been in any of my content. I have release forms for all of it. It's all on file with them. And then, like, it's immediate. Like, they will pull content from your vault and be like, hey, someone's not tagged here, so it's gone. Like, until you can tell us who's in here, it's not going to be published. So, like, they've really, like, over the years, they've really optimized a lot of that.
And because the criticism of them has been they've been too lenient on top earners, but from your experience, you don't see that?
No, and especially with my friends having the smaller pages, I've literally watched like the same system on my pages and on theirs. And so it's like, it's universal. So I don't know about the leniency. I think they care. The problem is they can't have anything be a problem. Like, they're too big to have, like, they're not going to give exceptions. Like, this is a safety issue that they care immensely about. So like, they take it seriously.
Because the success of their business depends on their ability to effectively police the content.
Absolutely.
Any changes you would like to see made to the platform?
I wanted some more live streaming features, but I know
Which would be
they're
what?
working on that. Some of the stuff that we built, I think, would be really cool to integrate. Like being able to stream to like multiple of my pages in one spot at a single time that would probably be quite helpful.
And would
for a lot of people.
Would the goal be to try and sell that technology or license that technology to them, or
I've talked
they can
to them
figure it
about
out and they
and
just
they're
need
like,
to do
yeah,
it?
we're all right. We got our teams,
Okay.
So like, and they said as long as we're doing the things that we're doing and sticking to all of our terms, like, we're good to go. So I think we can all win. So we make money, they make money, and everyone's happy.
All right, so I want to wrap talking about charity.
Yeah.
How many cats have you rescued?
I think 100 or something.
And how does that work?
So I did a lot of trap neuter return. So it was like putting out cages, and it's just like the feral cats. People that see like them in like dumpsters, stuff like that, they're not friendly. And then that's where like you have like a ton of just reproductive and there's kitten colonies everywhere. So I would trap them at a sporting goods warehouse, got them all fixed, and I re-released them and ended up having like little feeding stations. I have cameras so I can like see them all. But then I at least know that like they're happy, they're living a calm life, and there's not gonna be more kittens born. So it's fulfilling for me.
Didn't you have a like clothing business?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so briefly, it's cat clothing, but it's not clothes for cats. It was like shirts for cat people. I was just trying to help do more trap neuter return. But at the time, we kind of had the sporting goods business, OnlyFans had just started, and again, a little bit of impatience. I'm sure I could have figured it out, but like, it was taking a lot of time, and I was like, my attention should have probably been elsewhere. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna sell this off to a cute little lady in New York who was doing the same thing, and hopefully she's doing all right. But other charity, we like raised and donated like 150 grand through
Live
OnlyFans.
streams, right?
Yeah, through live streams.
Yeah, take me through that.
So I don't know anybody else that's done this. So we decided, again, it was just like one of those like underlying projects.
And I watched an interview you gave where you kind of got choked up talking about it. Like, why?
It meant a lot. It breaks the stereotypical of like, well, you're just an OnlyFans creator, you're not doing any good, it's only adult content. And it's like, no, we chose to try and break the mold a little bit and make people think and break kind of like their, I don't know, preconceived notions. So it's like I would live stream in the gym or do something like that, and we would pick a charity, and it would mean something to a fan, one of my friends, like it have like, or to me, it would have personal meaning to like, hey, today we're gonna, it's Veterans Day, so we're gonna do, Canines for Warriors, and it's like, cool. Every single tip that people send on this live stream, I'm gonna go donate. And even though we'd lose like the OnlyFans fees, I would cover that, but then I would then go take however much that was, the 2 or 3 grand from that live stream, go donate it, and then I'd post a receipt right on the wall. So it's like, again, just reiterating the same core principles that we have for the whole page of like, we're doing what we say we're gonna do. We're actually making a difference, and like we did this with the fans. So like the fans got to feel involved, they got value, and like the charity won. And then it gave us something cool to also tell other people and like challenge their mindsets of like, oh, wait, she did donate to charity? That's, okay, cool. Maybe I shouldn't be so judgmental.
I imagine you want to keep doing the same sort of stuff on the philanthropic front?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I like it. I like giving back. And Brian and I have always jokingly called, we have this like vision of doing like 100 acres of like a giant dog rescue or something, calling it like Happy Land. You know, just like trying to like make a bigger difference. I just adore animals, so it's like I'm definitely the crazy lady who stops traffic to get the turtle across the road. So fair warning. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep doing that.
Fascinating business and conversation, and obviously so much to this.
Yeah.
Congrats on all your success, and
Appreciate it.
thanks for doing this.
This was lovely. Thank you.